This video is sponsored by Full Reptile Collective, brought to you by Dan Hardy. Head over to their website at fullreptile.co.uk where you can find anything from training gear, t-shirts, hoodies, all the way to coffee. For an exclusive 10% off, use Dan Said So at checkout. Make sure to also check out their YouTube channel for some of the best MMA content out there, bar my own. Let's get back to the video. All right, UFC 275, guys, we have on the prelims, Jake Matthews taking on the very, very, very busy Andre Fialho. Note to self, if Fialho does win this fight, that will be 3 knockouts within 3 months, which would be extremely impressive after having his debut against Michel Pereira, which was a very close decision, which very competitive first round, second and third, Pereira kind of pulled away just through, I think, pure experience of learning from all his past mistakes. But then obviously gets paired against Baeza, who is a beast. Back and forth, gets clipped early on, counters him, knocks him out cold. And then obviously last week, or is it a couple of weeks ago now, fought Cameron Van Camp, again gets clipped and fires back, knocks him out in the first round. And now he's been paired against Jake Matthews, who, as you said before we were filming, has been in the UFC since he was 19 years old. He's now 27 years old with a good record of 17-5. And I can't get a read on him. He's got very decent striking. His management's lacking. His movement is sloppy to me, but his grappling is, I think, his bread and butter. And I think that's probably the best path to victory here for him. But what do you reckon about Fialho fighting 3 times in 3 months here?
I love Fialho just for that reason, mate. In fact, the fact that he's fought 4 times since, that's
4 times this year,
Yeah, it's pretty much February. I mean, it's 22nd of January. It's almost February. So pretty much, in the space of 5 months, he's fought 4 times, which is crazy. But player, mate, if they're healthy and they're not doing themselves too much damage, then I'm all for it. But they've got to just watch that they're not doing themselves any undue damage. You don't want Andre Fialho in a year's time saying, listen, I'm done because I fought 5 times in 5 weeks. You know what I mean? You don't. You want him to look after himself. But yeah, he's fun to watch. He's exciting. Even in the Pereira fight, even though it went 3 rounds, it was still a fun 15 minutes. As you say, I always think when guys fight their debut against somebody very experienced like that, I think a lot of it UFC experience comes into it. I know people say, oh, it doesn't matter, MMA is MMA. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like going from League One in England to playing the FA Cup final with Chelsea or something. I mean, the experiences are totally different. So fighting UAE Warriors against Stefan Sekulic, great performance. Won in the first round, 2 minutes, job done. Thank you very much. But going 15 minutes with somebody like Michel Pereira is a totally different animal. Never mind the fact that Pereira's off his head. I think he did well considering, and I think he's now showing what he actually has available and what he's good at. The Baeza thing, I think I was shocked for about 3 weeks after that because I think Baeza's massive, like humongous, and he's a lot of hype behind Baeza, and he just got smashed. As you say, he got dropped, but I think Fialho's shown like he's got a bit of a chin. Totally agree with what you say about Matthews. I think when you're 5'11" and you're a welterweight, I think you're bordering on the line of almost being stereotypically a grappler. For me, I don't know if that's just me, but I think he's known for it. Do you know what? He's one of these guys. He's going to be fun to watch. I don't think he'll ever do anything major in the division or anything like that. But I think he's fun to watch. It'll be good. I think Fialho's going to smash him, but I think it'll be good.
That's it, isn't it? It's I like that comparison with League One to the FA Cup final because it really is. It really is. It's going from a venue where there might be a couple hundred to 1,000 people in it to, peak of your prime. A lot of pressure as well coming into the UFC because this is you are under tight contract now. You better win or you're out. Yeah. And Jake Matthews, I'm with you as well. Every time he seems to fight someone of that level where you're like, that's a name, the Rocco Martins, the Bradys, even back in the day when he fought Kevin Lee, that was a long time ago, but just someone name, he loses when he takes that step up. And I feel like Fialho is kind of, he should be a ranked fighter, like a top 15 guy now. He's got very good boxing in that pocket, really measured, power left hook, works the body well, gets out of distance before he can kind of, fire back. Everything's kind of glancing off of him for the most part. Doesn't use the kicks that well. I'd like to see him implement more leg kicks because he seems to be just a boxer inserted into a mixed martial arts setting with great takedown defense. Working for him right now, so I'm not going to complain too much. But
Yeah.
Jake Matthews kind of does everything decently, but nothing outstanding.
Yeah.
And that always worries me because I think of him as an entry-level MMA fighter where if you're making your debut, you might get paired against a Jake Matthews. He is a UFC level fighter, but he's never going to be a ranked guy to me.
No.
And might be harsh because he is only 27 and he could do that flip and just switch it on. But he's also inconsistent with how much he fights. It's normally once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But he hasn't fought in a... when was the Sean Brady fight? It must have been 2020.
March last year.
March last year. Okay, so he hasn't fought in again for over a year.
Yeah.
So, again, we've seen Fialho. He might... Having that experience of fighting so many times this year and having that momentum, I think is only good, especially if you don't take damage. He doesn't seem to have taken damage in his last fights. He obviously feels good. It's one continuous training camp where he wants to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all momentum and my thoughts ride on Fialho by knockout here. I just feel like Jake Matthews he's got to ride a storm to get a win here. Fialho is no joke and he hits like a truck.
Yes. I totally agree. I think your analogy there, of Matthews, he's solid, so he's not great at one thing. He's just a solid guy, like solid everywhere, decent grappling, decent striking, decent movement, but nothing outstanding. Like it's funny, like me and Mark love the term gatekeepers on our show, and it's just something that, because I think genuinely, without it consciously being a thing, I genuinely believe there is that kind of guy in every division. There's a guy just outside the 15, there's a guy just in the top 10, there's a guy in the top 5 that kind of screens everybody, goes, right, if you can get past me, you deserve it. It's almost like Jake Matthews is like, I don't know, like a top 25 guy or something like that. He's the guy. Just
if you beat me, you deserve to be in the UFC. Yeah.
Aye. Well, I think so. I think that's. But then obviously, I mean, Fialho's fought 3 times. But is that kind of? It's maybe that kind of level to say, right? You've had a couple of fights. Let's see if you can hang it with guys who are a bit solid. I mean, I don't even remember the Van Camp fight, to be honest. With Fialho,
clean left hook, sat Van Camp down, and he knew it was over. No contesting from from him.
It's one of these things. It's been a weird few weeks for us, but I can't see much more than a Fialho knockout like yourself. I like Jake Matthews. He's one of these guys. He's not going to ruffle anything. Nobody's going to hate him. Nobody's going to love him. He's right down the middle. The total opposite from Marmite, basically. The total opposite. Nobody loves him. Nobody hates him. Just straight the line. And fair play to him. Again, I get the same thing you said about keeping him active. I think if he could stay active a bit more, I think it would be good for him. I think it's the same with any fighter. If you can get a fighter fighting 3-4 times a year, momentum carries so much. Exactly why Fialho's like a train coming in here, and Jake Matthews is going to try and jump on this moving train. It's just not going to happen. So,
yeah, for sure. It reminds me of when Cowboy Cerrone did that. He just fought once a month for like 6 months straight. Just kept doing it, and he kept winning. And that was leading up until I think the RDA fight, where he was on that crazy win streak, and then obviously got obliterated at the title fight. But it just rides that momentum, and it does help some people. And I just don't want him to get burned out. I hope this isn't the fight where he's burnt out now, but I don't think it will be because it's a pay-per-view again. So he's back-to-back pay-per-views here, 274 and 275. He was also on 270 with Pereira. So that's 3 pay-per-views out of his 4 UFC fights here.
Guy's a legend. Dana must love him.
Dude's a beast.
Yeah, I don't think the burnout thing's an issue for me because of both first round knockouts. I think the fact that he's only fought basically, 7 minutes, about just over 7 minutes in the last 2 fights. I think that's fine because that's essentially he's fought almost one main event in the last 6 months. I think that's absolutely fine timing wise for me. And if he stays in constant camp, he'll not have an issue with gas tank or anything like that, or he'll be totally fine. It almost seems like this is totally set up for Fialho to put on a show, really, which is weird because he's got so much momentum. He's rolling. He's constantly training. He's ready. It feels a bit like Jake Matthews is getting fed to the wolves a wee bit, but
yeah. So we're both, I'm assuming, on Andre Fialho first round.
Yeah,
if not first round, I think he's still going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to call a first round fight. I think it will. It will just depend what kind of Jake Matthews comes out. I think if Jake Matthews comes out and tries to engage, I think Fialho will smash him. I think if Jake Matthews takes his time, maybe lets Fialho come after him instead, I think you might find Fialho maybe struggle a bit more. But I think he'll knock him out or a TKO. But You and I must have a thing for Portuguese guys because that's 2 Portuguese in a row, mate.
Love the Portuguese. They'll do the Ronaldo Su afterwards as well, like
no,
Cup does.
please don't. No.
The cringe. Perfect.